Hey guys, how's it going today? It is Zero with Zero Gaming, and we are going over the developer update for the new July 21st mid-chapter patch release for Dead by Daylight. There is a lot of content in here, so we're going to go over it one by one. We're going to give our opinions, and we'll show you any kind of updates that they have. If you have any questions or comments, leave it a comment down below. I will be posting the link for this developer update and down below as well if you want to check it out and read it for yourself. So, first things first, guys, the clown. We got pretty much a rework. Kicking things off, the clown receiving some changes in the mid chapter. Our resident funny man, haha, has been cooking something up, introducing the Afterpiece Antidote. This new throwable bottle shatters and releases a delayed yellow gas. Once the gas activates, anyone who steps in the gas receives a 10% movement speed bonus. Like your tonic, this effect lingers for a few seconds after leaving the gas. You can swap between tonic and antidotes by tapping the active ability button at any time. Antidote isn't just a name, they will also cure any negative effects from the Afterpiece tonic. So you want to be careful where you throw them. They may make you faster, so as the killer, it makes you faster, but a poorly thrown bottle will make the survivor faster as well. Or you may want to lure a survivor to an area with no pallets, remaining with a juicy antidote. But remember, if the two gases collide, they will neutralize each other and disappear. Okay. We also recognize that every second counts. That's why we've reduced the time taken to reload your bottles down to 3 seconds. Oh, wow. From 5. Reloading will give you 4 bottles in any combination. You do not need to reload 2 tonics and antidotes separately. So, last but not least, we've done a pass on the clowns add-ons. There's some interesting new combinations in there that we're curious to see what you can do with. All right, so that's pretty much word for word what they said. What do I think? Does the Afterpiece tonic speed? Okay, first off, it gives the clown himself a speed bonus. Did he need one? Or why would you do that? His ability was to slow people down and slow down the loop. So why change that? Why give him more speed? And this is. We also recognize that we'll reduce the time to reload. Reload is fine. Even with the cooldown, great. The cooldown is a buff. Reloading will give you 4 bottles in any combination. So is it random? Are you gonna get 3 tonics and an antidote? 3 antidotes and a tonic? Are you gonna get fucking RNG fucked and get 4 antidotes? Is it? Is it bad luck? I don't know. We'll have to test it out on the PTB to know for sure. But I don't understand if that's possible and you have a build that goes towards tonics or goes towards antidotes, you never know what you're going to get when you do your reload. They cure negative effects from Afterpiece tonic. So the antidote will, if you have mangled or blindness or exhaustion, possibly, and they run into an Afterpiece tonic, excuse me, an antidote, that gets rid of it. And if you're talking about the no palette, or I'm sorry, if you're talking about taking away their exhaustion with an antidote if you're in a chase, that would be bad. especially for the clown. That'd be really bad for the clown. It'll be interesting to see how it works. I see people using it to get from hook to next subject or next survivor. Maybe. Do they scream in the antidote? That'd be interesting. A lot of questions that'll have to be answered in the PTB. But we will definitely test it out, and we'll get up a video for you guys. But that's it for the clown. Other than his add-ons, which we won't know until we see the PTB, the reload buff, which I'm happy for, that's fine. He could have got that alone, and he would have been fine. They didn't really need to rework him. A lot of people think he's weak, but he's really they don't know how to play him. The clown is meant to deny loops. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, what kind of builds, like they say that with the add-ons, and how people in general will use this antidote to their advantage. All right, guys, next thing we got up is a good old HUD update. They're moving things around, making it more streamlined. I am loving this, honestly. So the perks seem to be remain the same. So we'll throw up a picture here, right? This is the new one. Instead of the survivors being down here, they moved them up here. Not only did they move them up here, they show you who everybody is. So no more guessing, oh, Dwight's my random number one is my obsession. And you find all four of them on one gen and they scatter. Well, now you know that Dwight is my obsession. I should go after one of these three or whatever perk you're running. I love this. This is awesome. Looks like they took away the add-ons here. I guess it doesn't matter, or maybe she wasn't using any add-ons. Okay. Other than that, it looks pretty clean. The generators are now up here, up the top. That's fine. It kind of makes it more prevalent to let you know, but it's still nice looking. And this seems to be a hook meter. I'm interested to see exactly how that fills out. I would rather have like individuals, like maybe a tally mark or something. So we'll see how that happens and how that plays out in the PTB. So here's another of the survivor side, the HUD. So you still got the generators up top, which that's cool. All right. The portraits of each player, and there's the conditioning. So I'm assuming fine is the portrait. Hurt is, you'll probably have this like blood splatter here, and then down would look, they would change the portrait to a down. Perks are still here. Nothing's really changed there. So I'm assuming this would be the same way with a killer. That would be his secondary, and these would be the add-ons, maybe. But this is how this is working. This is your item. Your add-ons would be right there. Looks nice. This is the best part right here. This character HUD is the best part, I believe. It's nice though. So they're going over a lot of what I just went over. There's the character portraits, the hook counter and progress, and just the overall UI scale update. Now, this one is a little interesting. So we'll go right here. Keeping with the theme of updating what's old, we have revisited Survivor animation. As the game moves towards a more realistic direction, we felt it was only fitting to switch to a more realistic and fluid animation. We have made a conscious effort to not change movement itself as far as your inputs, as well as your character speed, turn rates, and acceleration have not changed. So they're not giving them a speed buff or anything like that. While the actual movements of the survivors have not changed, new animations can make it feel different to control. We will be keeping a close eye for feedback to make sure we compromise between making things look better while also keeping things feeling right. So let's take a little preview here. Now, I doubt that's going to have any effect on the hitboxes, but basically what they're going for here is how the character itself moves, how he looks when he's crouching or crouch walking. It's not going to affect the feel. It shouldn't affect the feel of the control, but you don't move faster or quicker. Essentially, you don't, the character models don't feel robotic. This, I guess, is a all right update. Is it necessary? People would probably won't not play it because of this, but every movement the character does down to just picking himself up. Because normally breakout, you're just popped up. It's nice. It looks pretty, but it's a bow on top of a package that's already an issue. All right, next thing we got coming up in this update is the matchmaking rating and rank system. Now, let's just say it's only been 4 years since they started this game, and they are finally putting a purpose to getting a certain ranking before the reset. Now, I love this, but I am worried a little that someone might just reach their rank 1 and then not play. That's very possible, but we'll see. Once we're happy with matchmaking ratings in the turn the system on for good, we'll be introducing rank rewards. Since ranks will no longer be used for matchmaking, they will instead be repurposed to reward dedicated players. Each month, everyone will be given blood points based on the highest rank. They're returning the matchmaking ratings in the future. We have been hard at work tweaking the system since our test last year, and we're preparing to re-enable the skill-based matchmaking for another test. Oh God. So the idea is you might be with like a rank 20, but he technically is like a rank 1 player. But that will be... Matchmaking didn't really work well last time in the test. Honestly, nobody would say it did. So they're trying to make it better, maybe by putting this. This should have been in some form of this should have been in years ago. They should have had that. All right, next up, guys, we have two graphical updates for two maps. That would be the game Gideon's Meat Plant and Crotus Pen Asylum. And let me tell you, these pictures are beautiful. Here's the inside of the asylum. Usually there's like maybe a pallet there, or the window is, down here this way. That is amazing. Like these, in all honesty, every map rework that they've done has been beautiful and done well. It's the design overall of the map, as far as some of the loops that people have problems with, certain pallets being unsafe. But other than the gameplay aside, they have graphically looked, all of them have looked amazing. So I'm excited. This is that foyer, or the glass, the green room, where there's usually either a window here, or I guess in this one it's on this other side. So that's like awesome. The meat plant here looks awesome. It really does. Hopefully, there was always an issue of some people having where they couldn't find the stairs. Hopefully they kind of fixed that. Sometimes these doors would be closed because there was a generator, and it could make it difficult to get to a hook. So if you downed a guy like right here in this corner, this door is closed. So there's a hook right here on the inside of this wall, right? But this door is closed because of a generator. So you would have to come down, around the corner, come back around to get the hook. So hopefully they don't have a lot like that cuts off a lot of pathways. But like I said, that's all gameplay wise. Just talking on the graphical side and just how it looks amazing. And that is, yeah. Here's another one of rendering. Again, looks amazing. This looks really empty back here. Hopefully it's just filler. Just a bunch of junk over here. But honestly, like I said, graphically these maps are all awesome. These renders are awesome, and hopefully the gameplay doesn't get affected by the rework. All right. Other than those were the big updates. They're going to do a couple of small quality of life changes that are probably more necessary than they think, but they're good. So first off, the Wraith. The Wraith is a keen survivor can see the Wraith while he is cloaked by the faint shimmer. To give him a small boost, we'll be changing his cloak shimmer to only be visible when close by. Respectively 20 to 16, and 16. So that will be a pretty decent buff for him, I believe. At 16 meters, it still doesn't matter. And if you're still cloaked as the Wraith and you're that close, they already know you're there. Like you said, it's still going to be unchanged. Is it going to be game breaking? Probably not. No. You might, depending on the survivor, not knowing it's a Wraith or not paying attention, maybe you can sneak up on him, but it's still unchanged that he's got to uncloak before he does anything. So I don't think it'll be a huge buff. It definitely is one, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Another quality of life change, the Trapper. The escape mechanic is changing. So previously you would have a 25% chance of escaping each time you opened, or each time you tried to escape. 25% chance every time. Roll of the dice, 25% chance. But 4 attempts only adds up to roughly 68 chance to escape. This makes traps pretty unreliable. Survivors could get out on their very first try. Yeah, no shit. Before you have a chance to react. They could try dozens of times without escaping. It's rough. I have seen it and I've been a part of it. I swear I hit this thing 20 fucking times and never got out. So what they're changing to combat this, we are switching to a flat distribution rate. Each time a survivor steps in a trap, it will take them between 1 to 6 attempts to escape. What does this mean? Between 1 and 3 attempts, the chance to escape is lower than before. At 4 attempts, the chance to escape is roughly the same as before. Between 5 and 6, the chance to escape is higher than before. Add-ons which reduce the chance to escape will be updated to increase the possibility number of attempts accordingly. We hope to keep the exciting am I going to escape, am I going to get there in time moments while reducing the frustration and making it easier to understand. I'm going to say this is a buff. I am more than certain this is a buff. There are those times where they get out on their first or second attempt. A lot of the times they do. So if they never get their 4th attempt, which is the same, it definitely seems like a good buff. We'll have to see it in action when it hits the PTB. Deep wounds. The deep wounds have gone through a few iterations, and once reasonable 30 seconds timer now seems a little too generous. Yeah, well, that'll make Legion a bit stronger. The deep wound timer is now 20 seconds long, regardless how it was applied. So they're gonna rework Legion's add-on that makes deep wounds shorter. They wanted to add more urgency to mending while also leaving room for edge cases. I think this is good, but I think it's still too much time. A lot of times people with deep wounds, they just run off. Borrowed time, they get hit, they run off. 20 seconds still a lot of time. It's a buff, I guess, for deep wounds, but it's not gonna affect anything. I don't think that's gonna affect anything at all. All right, so they're gonna rework diversion a little. Diversion has found its way into many people in spite of not being particularly powerful. We believe that the world should have more pebbles. With that in mind, we're reducing the time it takes to activate diversion and simplifying its perk tiers to make it more usable at lower levels. So that's cool, but what I would have rather have had would be like 2 to 3 pebbles. That would be worth it. You wouldn't have to reduce the time to activate it. Well, I mean, you could use it more often, but if you didn't do that and you just had counters or tokens, then that you wouldn't have to have fixed it or changed it. Fixated, they're changing. Don't you hate it when you get hit so hard you forget how to walk slightly faster? Us too. So the remaining, they're fixing fixated to work even if you're injured. So previously, fixated gives you a 15% chance to walk faster if you are uninjured. Now it doesn't matter if you were injured or not, fixated will still give you that boost speed walk. So you use that, you use Iron Will, and there's no ever a need to run Urban after that. That is a pretty good buff for Fixated. Is it going to be game breaking? No. Sorry. This one though is very controversial to a lot of people right now because I would say 80 to 90% of all killers at this moment are running this perk. Hex Undying. So, everybody knows what Hex Undying does. There are a few things they're going to address. The first is transferring the same hex multiple times can get out of hand. Hexes aren't meant to be strong perks. Hexes are meant to be strong perks that can be destroyed, and having to destroy the same hex 4 times can be a bit much. Yeah, we know. Since tokens aren't transferred when a hex totem changes, Undying was unpopular with perks other than Ruin, which does not have any tokens and is immediately at full power. Yeah, that's what everybody's doing right now. Having aura reading on all totems also made a very powerful tracking perk on top of its other effects, and is a little redundant with Hex Thrill of the Hunt. Yes, and yes. So, with that in mind, they're making the changes to Undying. Anytime a Hex totem is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem. Hex Undying is then deactivated. This ensures that the first totem cleanse is never your other Hex perk. So it gives your perk essentially a bodyguard one time. What if they're on what if they're on both of them at the same time? You know, what if they destroy both totems at the same time? Any tokens you've accumulated are now kept with the Hex perk when it transfers totems. So that is gonna be fucking powerful. You're gonna see a lot of people run Undying Devour Hope. You're gonna see a lot of people running if you get to keep your tokens, that makes a lot more builds possible when those powerful Hex perks are fully powered. We're talking Devour Hope. We're talking Lullaby. And I'm guessing I can't think of another one right now. Aura reading only applies to dull totems. I don't know if I would the aura reading only applies to dull totems. Why? Wouldn't you want to know where they are on your totem? I guess that's the reason for Thrill of the Hunt. This is a necessary change, but it might have made other things a lot stronger. It's still going to be a very popular choice, Undying Ruin. It's going to be, because you're protecting your Ruin for X amount of minutes, depending on whenever they find a totem that's lit and destroys it. If they did it where there was only one lit totem, Hex Undying was lit somewhere, right? Only one lit totem. And once that goes down, then it moves the second hex somewhere else, and that one totem is lit. If it has 2 lit totems that both can be taken out simultaneously, it is the same effect of not having anything. It happens in many games, and it just happens. So reworking Iron Maiden as well, which is good, other than Huntress, which is the only killer Iron Maiden is actually useful for reloads. So what it does is when a survivor leaves the locker for 15 seconds, they are exposed. Well, if you're on the other side of the map, 15 seconds is nothing. You're not going to be found. It's not going to happen. So they're going to increase the duration to 30 seconds, double. That's a good buff. Is it still going to be effective? It'll be more effective. Is it going to be very effective? Probably not. A lot of the times when people use it, they're on the other side, unless somebody uses it really close to you and they didn't know it because it's the first time they do it. You might see some exposed out there, or some Iron Maidens out there. Definitely will still see it with Huntress. So, but be wary. Be wary of this double time. So, they're also working on the Survivor side open-handed. Open-handed makes your view of your auras increase by, depending on if everybody ran it, up to almost 52 meters. It increases for every person using it. So what they're doing it now is it's only works if one person essentially brings it in. It's always going to be at the max 16 meters added to your aura readings. So this means people who would run 4 kindreds and 4 open-handed, you would essentially have aura viewing through the entire map if somebody was on the hook. Now that's pretty powerful. But you have to convince everybody on your team to run essentially 2 perks. So what this does is it kind of gets rid of the survivor stack and lets other players maybe play other perks. If one person has open-handed, nobody else needs to run it. It is at its maximum power with one person at 16 meters at level 3. I think this is a good change. Open-handed could have got kind of crazy powerful if a coordinated team all used it together. The last survivor perk they're reworking is Second Wind. We're reducing the time it takes for Second Wind to heal you after being unhooked. Is Second Wind, what that does is when you unhook somebody, once you are unhooked, you will be broken for, I think, up to 120 seconds. After the 120 seconds, you are immediately healed. So they are reducing the time it takes you after you are unhooked to heal yourself. That is a buff, but is it still going to be used and is it going to be game breaking? No, it is not. You might see some people meme with it, but you will probably not see a lot of Second Wind in your games. But it is a necessary buff. Took a bad perk, made it better, but it's still a bad perk. Other than that, that is going to be the end of it. Like I said, I will leave a link down below for the changes for you to read yourself. We will be going over things live, testing things out on the PTB when it drops later this week. Look out for videos for that in the near future. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. You want to see some more action over on Twitch, follow me. Down below will be a link where we play live on the week, during the week. I'd like to see y'all there. We play a lot of Dead by Daylight. Until the next video, guys, I appreciate it. And you all have a good day.